It's several, because they're huge size. Hens can get up to 8 pounds. So yeah, you can just use this huge laying flock of Orpington hens, because they lay not as good as a Leghorn or any other Mediterranean breed. They don't lay that good, but since they're so meaty, you can use them for meat, like if they're spent, which yeah, you know that meaning.
Absolutely.
If you're gonna put that up on YouTube, then I should probably explain.
Okay, explain to us what. Hey everybody, Wyoming James checking in from the Urban Micro Farm. Well, it is day number 25. Day number 25. And that little 5.5 foot tall fountain of chicken knowledge that you just saw, well, that's our buddy Nicholas. We were fortunate to have Nicholas and his family come out and pay us a visit here at the Urban Micro Farm. And it was just neat having he and his mom and his brother here. The kid is sharp. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to feed these guys, and then we're going to hop in the pickup and head out to the pasture. But while we're doing that, how about you guys watch Nicholas kick some more of his chicken knowledge? A very special guest here today. We have our buddy Nicholas. Now, you heard me talk about Nicholas a few days ago.
Like 2 episodes?
2 episodes, maybe 3 episodes ago.
One right after I brought you, and then one after we signed up for your CSA.
Correct. Nicholas and his family, they are CSA members, and they decided to come join us. So what they did is they hooked up with my mom, Grandma Marianne, and they went out to her house, and then she brought them over to the Urban Micro Farm. I can't imagine what a letdown it was for these folks, because it's not really that great. I mean, it's just a garden with some chickens in it. So
well, that's enough for me. I have low enough standards.
So Nicholas is great. I've loved having him here. We've enjoyed this. So he has, and you're going to see it. You're just going to get just a small taste of the knowledge that this kid has right here. I wish you could have seen that. Mandy almost got clobbered. So we
get a pitchfork handle to my head.
We got Nicholas's younger brother Matthew. He's over here digging for worms, and he's so into it that Mandy almost got the pitchfork to the face.
I'm going to have to change positions here. Okay, let's go here.
You're going to get a taste of what Nicholas knows about birds. I mean, this kid is an encyclopedia about chickens, and I love visiting with him. So, but what we're going to do right now is we're gonna jump in the vehicles, and we're going to head out to the pasture so that they can see the operation out there.
I'm very much looking forward to that.
I am too.
Like, this small-scale operation is exciting, to say the very, very, very least. I want to see what your pasture project is.
I like it that this kid talks with his hands as much as I do. We'll be right back. So, explain to us what spent means.
Well, so, say you take a Leghorn, which is the best pure breed laying hen ever. And most Mediterranean breeds, they do go that way. Say she lays like 8 years, which is very, very long, and then she, the laying slows down. Of course, progressively, it always slows down, progressively. But once it, like, say she's 8 years old, and she's laying so slow, it's less of a profit. So then you have 2 options. You could care for it for all its life, and that's not very smart. You could send it to like the home for retired hens.
Do they make one? Is there one of those? I don't.
Hey, there's probably some crazy chicken lady out there.
You're right, there is. I guarantee you there's some chicken lady. So, hey, chicken lady, at Nicholas this guy, because he's going to have some retired birds for you.
So, basically, it's less of a profit. You got those 2, and you could, butcher it, which
makes sense.
If they're really good, a really good layer, they're not going to have that much meat. So that's also not a profit. They're spent because that means that they're slowed their laying down to that point. They're spent, spent hens. Hens also slow their or stop their laying during the winter if they're molting, or if they're diseased, or if they're having a maintenance problem, which definitely not your case, because plenty of fresh air, sunlight, water, food. So very well managed, but poor management is also another thing. But if you manage them very well, and they're happy hens, they lay more, which it's just a byproduct of you taking very good care of your chickens.
Agreed. And you get it. So everybody, I am going to subscribe to Nicholas's laying bird channel, YouTube channel. So as soon as he gets that up, you better believe I'll put his channel in my links down below, and you'll be able to learn everything I'm going to be learning from his channel. So stay with us. Do you know what kind of birds you want to raise?
Yes, Barred Plymouth Rocks, Buff Orpingtons, and Rhode Island Reds.
So you're more of a heritage guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. There's nothing wrong with that. We wanted these for the meat production, and we knew that they mature fast, so that was our plan. We knew we just had a short amount of time this summer to raise these birds up, so that's why we went this direction.
Well, yeah, and that's a very honorable direction to go, because you don't have to care for them over the winter.
Exactly. So, and you guys being from North Carolina, you haven't got to experience one of our winters yet, have you?
No.
Okay, so it's gonna be tough on birds. So that's why we thought short growing season, let's have some birds that mature real quick. Here's the thing, just because you have the ability to put some videos up on YouTube, this guy,
Doesn't mean everybody knows.
doesn't mean you're an expert, okay? But here's what I'm learning. Nicholas is 14 years old, and I'm going to tell you, he knows more about chickens than I ever thought about knowing. I mean, this kid is studied. He is well studied. Absolutely, he is. As far as the breeds and the breeding and the how those birds produce, this guy right here. So, new plan. Okay, if you guys have any questions that are technical, you put at Nicholas. Okay, put at Nicholas, then ask him a question, because he's the guy that's going to answer them, and I'm going to get a phone number from him, and then he's going to answer your questions through me. So,
would it be all right if I could pick one up?
absolutely. If you can catch one, you can pick them up.
Awesome.
Now, here's what: if you just kneel down and like scratch the grass,
That'd be kind of fun.
they'll think you're helping them out there.
He needs
Yeah.
to pay attention.
Just catch you one.
They're running for me, I think.
That's right. Yeah, that's okay. Just go, just kind of sneak up on them, and then you can grab one, and they're gonna squawk. Just so you know, they're gonna squawk, but just grab them anyway.
They're over in the peas.
There you
Wow,
go.
you guys grow a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, this year it didn't take off nearly like it did last year, but
There you go. There you go.
A huge garden.
hey,
Got one.
there you go. Yep,
Oh.
just have their wings together. There you
When
go.
we move, I was thinking
Nice.
of doing gardening, but I was just going to grow cucumbers.
Gail Damerow, I believe, and she, with Story Publishing, she wrote Story's Guide to Keeping Chickens. Those are my two biggest research, and it's been very reliable, because they hardly ever disagree on the research. It's basically pointing in one big direction. But in Schneider's book, Chicken Whisperer's Guide, he has this whole huge area for the dietary, and he says carbs and proteins and all that, but basically there's this long list of things you can do, and dairy's on one of them. Dairy's one of them. It's animal-based proteins. They love those. Chickens, so far, the research, because I don't have chickens on my own yet. This spring, laying flock of 6, because I'm not gonna have this huge pasture. And if I'm caring for them year round, if it's too snowy to go outside, I'm not getting to the pasture. So, the biggest reason I chose heritage breeds, not because, well, yes, because they're hardiness, but because they're docile temperament usually. They're all very inclined to be very docile, and in many books, in both the, Gail Damerow's Stories Guide, there's this huge, breed guide. Says Orpingtons are meat breeds, but in several others it says they're meat breeds. But in others, it says that they're dual purpose because they're big. You can use. Okay. Sorry for getting sidetracked.
No, that's. Oh, look, a bird.
He wanted to come. He wanted to come hear what you had to say
It's
too.
like, wait, I'm interested in heritage breeds. All right, so I hope you enjoyed watching some of that video from yesterday evening on the Urban Micro Farm with Nicholas and his family. So on the way out here today, we had arranged it yesterday to where I could pick these boys up on the way out to the pasture today, so they could come out and help move chicken tractors and just take care of the birds, because they were so interested in what we were doing. So one of the unique things that came out of last night was, I think our friend Nicholas here, I think he may have solved our protein problem. When he showed up, he said, hey, I have an idea if you'd like to hear it. So I heard him out, and it's a brilliant idea, and I think we're going to implement it. We're about 90% on this deal, but it seems like the fix. We're busy trying to shoot holes in it still to see if it is feasible, but we're not able to find any. So here's what it is. Nicholas came to me and he says, hey, what we should do, or what you should do, is you should grow fodder. Okay, I had a blank look on my face when he said fodder, and then he went on to explain what fodder is. Basically, fodder is where you sprout, you ferment and then sprout grains. It can be wheat, it can be oats, it can be rice, it can be legumes. You basically sprout them and grow them up into little green plants, and what it does is it multiplies the protein of that seed by like 10-fold. And that may not be an accurate number, but it's a lot. I mean, I think it's at least 8 times of what the protein content of if you were just feeding those grains. So we figure we can buy a bag of grain for 10-15 bucks and turn that into 8 times that much food. You know, if it's 50-pound food, well, we're trying to turn that into 400 pounds of protein feed, high protein feed. So it's been really enjoyable here. Nicholas is just an encyclopedia of information on birds. He's so into chickens, and he's educated me. So it's been really fun having him, and I promised him he'd get a little guest spot here. So I'm going to let him ramble for a few minutes and just tell us, maybe give us some of your thoughts on my chicken operation, and tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Well, it looks to be pretty good, but I say that till, you know, a predator shows up.
True.
On a side note, I think my brother here has got a cockerel, the comb's redder.
Yeah, this one does have a little bit more comb than this one. So,
Hurrah! I just sexed a bird.
yeah. So Nicholas came out to sex my birds. I know that sounds a lot dirtier than it is, but no, he's basically telling me that this one's a boy, this one's a girl. So we got boys and girls out here. Unfortunately, they're not going to be around long enough to really get to explore their sexuality. So we're going to butcher them long before that. But it's been really, really good having Nicholas and Matthew on the place. So they've really enjoyed it. They've been a great help to us. And if that fodder idea, if that comes to fruition, that'll be a huge help to us here on the Urban Micro Farm. But I hope you've enjoyed having them as much as I have. Stay with us. Don't be afraid to click that subscribe button. Wyoming James, Nicholas, and Matthew saying adios from the Urban Micro Farm.